So a couple months ago, I posted a video talking about some pretty embarrassing events that occurred while I was in school. And recently, as I was laying in bed peacefully trying to rest, my brain decided it would be hilarious for even more embarrassing moments to all of a sudden just flood my head. So yeah, here's a part 2 of that video. Why am I doing this? So this first story starts off in middle school where I knew this one girl who we're gonna name Alice. In middle school I rode the bus, and while the bus would go to pick up other students, at this one stop there was Alice. When she'd get on the bus, Alice would always ask to sit next to me. Even if there were open seats somewhere, she'd still choose to ask if she could sit near me. And I mean, I didn't really care because I thought she was, I thought she was pretty, I ain't gonna lie. At first we didn't really speak like that, but as it kind of became a daily routine for her to sit next to me, we eventually started to conversate and get to know each other. And wow, me and her had so much in common. A little too much in common. We had the same type of humor, we both liked art, we liked almost the same music artists. We both even liked Plants vs. Zombies, like what? Every day after school was over, she'd always talk to me about her day and I'd do the same. When we'd get home, we'd text on Instagram. And in my dumb, idiotic pea brain, it felt like this was the start to something potentially very great. Over time, yes, I kind of developed a kinda little crush on Alice, kinda a little bit, I guess. And she was genuinely the first person I felt feelings for while in school. Because I'll be honest, I was not paying attention to girls back then. I was hanging out with boys.
Bro, what did you just say? You're gay! He's gay!
So fast forward, same old, same old. And as the days went on, I was building up the courage to finally ask her the big question. But I was still too scared. So anytime the day came, I was always pushing it back like, I'll just one more day, give me one more day. Which in retrospect might have been the best thing I could have done. Because it's the end of a school day, we're on the bus going back home. And in my brain, I was like, alright, bet. Before this week ends, I'm asking her. Locked. Like I confirmed it right there. But that's when it happened. We reached her stop. We said our goodbyes, and she got off the bus. As I was waiting for everybody else to get off the bus, I peep Alice walk into her house, and I see a guy at her door. I'm like, oh, what? I didn't know she had a brother. What the heck? She walks up to bro and gives him the fattest smooch I've ever seen, and they walk into her house. I had front row seats, just witnessing everything. I ain't gonna lie, that whole week I was so heartbroken. It wasn't even funny. But my friends would clown me every moment they got, and I don't understand why they did that. I'm not exactly sure which would have hurt more. Me eventually asking her and her telling me that she had a boyfriend the whole time, or me watching her kiss her boyfriend in front of me. We remained friends, but anytime we got to her stop on the bus, I just get flashbacks and oh my gosh, it just didn't feel the same. But anyway, moving on. So back in elementary school, I knew this kid named Fahed. I think is how it was pronounced. That's how he said it was pronounced. Me and him both had chronic addictions to Five Nights at Freddy's. In the mornings before classes started, you would always catch me in the cafeteria drawing the cast of characters while he talked to me about them. And it was also around the time that the Living Tombstone had dropped that one song for the game. You know, the we're waiting every night to find... Yeah, that one. Me and Fahed would always be hollering that song anywhere, anytime, bruh. We'd sing it so much that we were literally known for singing it in our classes. People would walk up to us during lunch and be like, yo, Shazi and Fahed, y'all should sing that Five Nights at Freddy's song. It sounds so good. And us not knowing that they were probably slick making fun of us, we'd sing that shit with full passion. And every time we did, we'd always feel so cool. It low-key felt like that was our song, cause it was. Metaphorically, don't copyright me, don't kill me, Living Tombstone, please. So boom, I don't remember if it was just our class or the whole school, but there was a talent show going on. And as kids were going up and performing in front of everyone, me and Fahed looked at each other and gave each other the widest smiles. It was our time to shine, especially since the school practically knew us for singing that song. Imagine the applause that we were about to get. I didn't even like doing anything in front of large crowds of people, but we were both filled with so much hype, it didn't even matter. After the kid who was probably like singing their ABCs or something was done, me and Fahed walked up there, and
we're waiting every night to find a new woman and right then it comes who comes to play with us. Many years deep in a room.
It was so silent the entire time we were singing, nothing but our voices just echoing in the room. Once we started going, I started to look at myself in the third person, and I've never felt like more of a loser than in this very moment. Everybody in the room looked so confused, dumbfounded, embarrassed, or on the brink of laughing. And obviously I wasn't just gonna stop mid-performance, I would've looked even more stupid. So me and Fed had no choice but to keep on going until it was over. After we were done, maybe like 10 people clapped out of the 105 people in the room. Tell me why, as we sat down and waited for the next kid to perform, we see the kid walk over to a teacher with a whole ass speaker, request a song, and starts playing the song and he performs. That meant the whole time me and Fahed were singing, we could have actually had the Five Nights at Freddy's song playing in the back as well. You know how less awkward it would have been if we actually had the song playing? We sounded so foolish up there. Why didn't anybody tell us that that was possible? Unless they did, and we just weren't listening because we were gassing each other up the whole time. That story still makes me want to just disappear. It's so bad. We felt so idiotic afterwards. I wonder if Fahed still ever thinks about that talent show as well. Probably not. Anytime I hear that damn song, I get brought back to that stupid ass performance. Anyways, moving on. This next story isn't really something embarrassing that happened to me, but it's embarrassing that it even happened, if that makes sense. Just listen. So in middle school I had a gym period, and in that gym period I had a group of friends who I'd hang out with. One of the people in that group being someone named Michael, who I knew for the longest. Me and the group didn't really do anything active in the gym period, I'll be honest. After we would do our mandatory stretches, we'd all kind of just hop on our phones and play like Clash Royale or Geometry Dash. And one fun thing that our group had was a thing called Nutchuck Day. I know, just hear me out. Pretty much every Friday, we would have this thing called Nutchuck Day where as soon as we entered the gym period, if you were caught lacking, you'd get punched square in the balls. As to why this was a thing, I truly do not remember. I have no recollection of the origins to Nutchuck Day, but it was a thing and I loved it. Pause, whoa. Nutchuck Day was high-key the highlight of every Friday, just because of the satisfaction I got from catching one of my friends lacking and destroying their shit. As you could probably imagine, it wasn't really the best when I was the one getting nutchucked, but still. So it was the average Friday and then we got into gym. And that day, I was planning on getting my get back on Michael, because he had did me so dirty the week prior and I couldn't let it slide. So everybody had done their stretches and then were off to do whatever they wanted to do. I had Michael in my line of sight. I snuck up on him and I nutchucked him. And as a man probably would react, he yelped and started like gasping for air and malfunctioning and all that. And I started cackling at him. This was a long time coming, but I guess it wasn't a light nutchuck I gave him because he started crying. And that never usually happens. Like actual tears were running down this man's face. I guess I underestimated my power level because I thought I just gave him a light jab, but apparently I hit his ass with the Mortal Kombat X Cassie Cage X-ray. 2 minutes later, he legit couldn't move. So me and my friend started to panic and called the coach to help us. We described what happened, and the coach looked so lost. So one of you hit him in the nuts? Well, who did it? To be honest, coach, none of us really Oh, you sons of bitch! I got ISIS for the rest of the day. After that, I don't think we ever continued Nutchuck Day ever again. But if I'm gonna be honest, do I regret what I did to him? No! If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Shout out to you, Michael. Me and him were still cool all the way through middle school, so yeah. But that's it for this video though. I really hate my brain for all of a sudden just remembering all these terrible events. I know y'all probably have some pretty embarrassing school stories too, so leave some in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see y'all in the next video.